welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I am just sitting here, holy cows, chuckling. I wonder how many of you can see what I see when the stream happens and some of the chats are going on. I do try to leave the comments so that they're available for the later viewers as well. Some of the commentary, man, some of the folks who join me, I'm curious. The thought that I was thinking already, I wonder, is the majority of people who tune in, are they haters or are they curious? Are they, watching a train wreck? What is in the minds of those who tune in? Because some of these folks, man, holy cows, man. The mockery. The mockery is so much. Daddy, Jack Talcott, the life coach with no job, home, or family, the one and only that I am. Praise God, man. Praise God, because this life I'm living, holy cows, man, it's a trip. I am excited to get started again today. I'm grateful to all of you who may tune in and join. Blessings and freedom. Blessings and freedom are the underlying theme behind the topic. The topic, escaping selfishness, materialism, ignorance. These things are thoughts I was thinking about earlier today, and I'm grateful because the result of escaping those things is truly freedom. It's true. Blessings are found when you move beyond selfishness, materialism, and ignorance. So I'm feeling great. Blessings and love to you all, man. Trump and I could end secrets and wars today. I could do it from here. I wouldn't have to commute to DC if things worked out. Blessings to all of you, man. Yeah, I know. I like to keep people confused, sometimes deliberately, particularly with my appearance. Because no matter what I've done, no matter what I've looked like, people continue to underestimate me. They define me in their different ways. So I just gotta go with what I feel like. And I've explained my looks quite a bit. I do have a special group of haters, man. There are some amazing people who've come out of the woodwork just to hate on me. They're pretty cool, man. A lot of great senses of humor, a lot of amazing personalities. My story, man. Yeah, my story, dude. I was put through the ringer, and you could say my life is a complete train wreck. I've said it quite a while ago. That's what God allowed me to see. My life is kind of a joke. It's up to me if I want to take it seriously or not. Others around me, it's up to them as well. But God's with me. This part I know for sure. God is with me for sure. Greetings to all of you. And this is becoming true. I'm growing to be a YouTube celebrity in my own different ways, and that's good and bad. It's good and bad. Here, you know what? Let me get into a couple of things. Calling people out, man. I love you guys. Here, what have I got today? What have I got? The thumbnail. Just me. I'm feeling inspired with thoughts of God, love, and Talcott Tuesday, man. It is Talcott Tuesday. I'm living as me. I hope you're living as you on this day that we're sharing. In the background is Jack in front of the Capitol. It's a photoshopped image again, but it's sending the message. This is where Jack wants to be, is right where I am. Praise God. Here's what I recognize. Our journey, our destination, our resting points are however we create them to be from whatever we can discover. See, because that's what today was for me, is I was kind of readjusting. Again, my life has been a journey, especially recently, physically, moving across the country, changing locations and finding different destinations. So I'm at a resting point again, where I am. I'm outside of DC, and my hopes were that, you know, the new surroundings, the new experience, that I'd get new ideas and make new connections. But so far the haters have plenty of ammo, right? The mockers. I was reviewing the chat yesterday, and it's in my head. All the critics, man. I allow them space a little bit just to keep me motivated, to keep me guessing. All right, what's my next step? What's my next step? What's the game plan? I know the game that God has set before me, this life that we have been given. In this game where you and I, we get to create our own rules. That's a secret that the people don't want you to know, right? You get to create the rules for you. And it's up to you. You need to own your rules and understand your rules. Otherwise, you become a walking contradiction, because you'll obey one person one day and another person another day, and then you just have no loyalty to any direction. It's why the scripture, I think this is why the scripture says, you know, that the lukewarm would be spit out. You know, that there'd be many who say at the day, right, Lord, I did blessings in your name, and the response would be, I don't know you. You don't know me. For I took myself off on thought with that one. I haven't been going very long, but you know what? We did an extra long stream yesterday. Really turned out to be a journey, 4 hours, but holy cows, people tuned in to check it out. At least that's what the tracker says, the number data. Anyway, the point is, I enjoyed the conversations. I trust that everything is coming together. I'm available for those who wish to engage with questions or, you know, discussing this topic. I'll go more into the topic as well. Escaping selfishness, materialism, ignorance. Those came into my mind. Why? Oh, because that's what the worldly ways are. Wrap it up, Red 40. I felt yesterday was a very interesting stream. There was a lot of topics and interactions. Holy cows, there was drama and all sorts of things. Here, the point is, though, that's what I wanted to do. The link is pinned to the top of the chat for those who may wish to join. The reasons I was thinking, right? Selfishness, materialism, ignorance. Those three things result in the negative feelings, the negative aspects of life. I don't have it pulled up or linked, but I was watching listened to an Aaron Abke discussion earlier again today too, and really breaking down the emotional science, the science behind the emotions. Once you see the patterns of your emotions, it's a lot easier to identify. And once you can identify your emotions, you can understand your emotions. The purpose isn't to identify, to hide from your emotions or to avoid your emotions, right? People walk on eggshells to avoid triggering themselves and each other. The patterns of anxiety and the wounded warriors, it's time for us to move past those things, right? Because we can walk with love, and love is the wholeness and light and life, and it brings this peace and fulfillment, and it's magical. And in the absence of love, we can move by fear, by sadness, and by anger. I used to live by fear and sadness and anger, and those things really became me. I put on a fake smile, so I could fit in. And so I didn't really push people away, but living with fear and sadness and anger, those can be broken down as well, right? Those things, the idea of being selfishness, where you're guarded and you have to protect and you have to fight, it's the egoic ways, it's the beast. It creates a contracted world, because the more small you feel, the less space, the less change you're prepared for. And I didn't realize how unprepared I was for change. I didn't realize how small I had become in the patterns of my life, because I was living as me. I was a confused man in the past. And then I started learning how to think more clearly. Do you want to know how to think more clearly? It's so simple. You give up. You give up the belief that it's up to you. You recognize that you are an aspect of your higher power, that your higher you knows the answers. It's not up to the little you, it's up to the greater you. And in the greater you is the greatest, right? We're like connected to the infinite mind of God, the oneness, the unity that knows it all. So to think more clearly, give yourself permission to feel loved, to feel supported, to feel cared for. Because if you feel those things within you, you'll give your heart and your inner nervous system permission just to chill. And when you chill, you can tune in, right, into the silence, and you can listen. You can listen to the whisper of the Holy Spirit, the divine answer, the truth that brings love, right? Those are the things that you're searching for. All of us are. And I found a path, and it's in exactly what Jesus said, right? It's in exactly what he showed and taught. You just got to take that stuff seriously. It's up to you. You have the choice, the power to escape your selfishness, to escape your limited mind of material focus. And you can even escape your ignorance through the grace of God. Through the grace of God, giving yourself permission to rise above the problems, to be at peace with God in the present moment, because God is eternally there, but we lose sight. We being people, you and me, we lose sight of the greater picture. And the greatest picture, the answer is always love. Okay, so if you're not bringing love into the equation, what would you love? What would they love? What would the world love? What would God love? What would love love? These are the thoughts I do wonder. So in the Jack Talcott story of who I am, oh yeah, so past life, living with fear, anger, and sadness. What is sadness? It means I'm experiencing a lacking of something, right? It means something I want isn't there. So how do you change that? You either fulfill what you want, or you get a game plan together so you can achieve what you want, or you change what you want. It's that simple. And then so you can overcome your sadness that way. And your fear is a sense of pride. You have the belief that you have control. And the fact is, you don't control anything more than what you think and feel. I wonder if this is making sense. And we've got our first guest, and that might help me come through more clearly. Welcome back, Hank. How are you today, brother?
I'm doing good. The Comcast is maintenance stopped, so my internet's working properly now. So that's why I'm in my studio again rather than on the road. So what I want to understand is what's your vision on the resolution? What should it look like when the situation between Dusty and Lindsay's resolved?
What the resolve looks like is going to be entirely up to them. But if I had a say, I'd encourage both of them to calm down, figure out what they actually want, and have conversations with each other, honestly.
Okay, so my vision of the resolution is pretty much it's already done, but because I vouch for the, I guess, the two-state solution. I do my thing over here, and you be crazy over there. In my book, it's technically resolved because Lindsay just not allowing the panel for now. She knows how to get back in, and she can go in other panels. It's not a big deal. There's all kinds of panels. I was just on a different panel nobody in your chat even knows about, and I'm going to say the name. So and that's a very big space.
It is a very big space. And, sometimes that is the answer, just to simply part ways. And that's what I got from you. That's being confirmed there. They should go their separate ways. And perhaps. Hey, welcome, Joe. Good to see all of you, sincerely. Even the critics and the imposters, I really do love all of you guys. This life we're living. If you look at life for what it is, it's just a story filled with a bunch of characters. We can get real attached to the different characters, especially the character in the mirror or the character in our mind. But in the end, what really matters?
The friends we made along the way.
I think that's a great answer, Hank. I really do. Because that's actually what's kept me going through much of my life, was many of the friends that I've met along the way, the good people, the people who encouraged me, who inspired me, right? The people who were good examples for me to learn from. Those friends, you're right, Hank. Those are the treasures. Maybe that's what the Bible was talking about. The treasures in heaven. I've wondered what that means, right? Don't seek the material things because that'll rust and rot and fade away, but seek the things that are treasured in heaven. And I think that's memories, good memories. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Man, lots of people say lots of things. Oh, hey, today, here's something again. This is Jack Talcott's story. You can take it for what it is. But if you don't pay attention to my explanations, it's real easy to get confused. Today, I feel very happy. The last 2 days, I've been, again, reaching new points or maybe reminders of surrender. I've been surrendering to our God, the God that is, the one who is with us right now. I have faith that my life is perfectly the way it's supposed to be. I thank you. Butterflies are free. I've been focusing on that goal because there's a lot of uncertainties in my life. I get interrogated and questioned and, opposed in so many different directions. So I have to take care of myself. And the last couple of days I have been. Yeah, this life is a comedy, and when you recognize life is a comedy, we can have fun together, and then this is a fun channel. But it's also a place where a lot of ignorant fools like to join and cast accusations and insults at each other. This is what is common in our society today, Hank. It's amazing how popular and profitable disrespect is.
Well, it depends. It depends on how you package it. I mean, if you do disrespect like our friend Officer Snaps does, well, you won't make any money whatsoever. So it really depends on the packaging and how you manage it. So it definitely may have a point there, and I'm still taking notes.
Yeah, here's the thing regarding Dusty yesterday. I don't really criticize him. He's honest about what he's doing. I just believe he's selling himself short. And I tried pointing that out to him, but I didn't find a way to reach him, to connect with him. But not yet. I haven't given up.
But he agrees he's selling himself short, but he's training, he's trying to do better each and every day, just like I am, and just like you are. So we don't really know the folks have our abilities. We're working on it.
Yes. What I'm encouraging, though, I don't know. I think I'm the only one that, well, maybe I'm the only one I listen to regarding it. But I have clear goals in my life. My plans have kind of had to adapt and change quite a bit, but I've still got clear goals I'm working towards. And I see a lot of people online on YouTube that I think they're doing this instead of pursuing goals.
Yeah, they're looping instead of seeking goals, and I generally just leave them be. About for people who want to do stuff.
Well, yeah, that's my hope, sincerely, is to connect with people who want to do things, especially where I am. I'm now in the Baltimore area, and I was excited. I found my favorite places to shop. That's I was observing. This is one of the benefits to living in America in the modern age, and these chain stores. You get familiar to the products, and you get familiar to the way they're set up, and you can go anywhere, and it's pretty much the same. So they got a Costco here. They got I just recognized they've got a grocery outlet, which was like my favorite place to go for organic foods and plant-based foods. And then, so I'm finding they got a lot of the things that I was used to back home. Now I just got to get used to how I get around and get to the things.
Yeah, you'll need like maybe a month or two, and you'll be fine.
I learn quick. I'm outside of DC, but I've already mapped it out, and I can be down to the capital in about an hour-ish, right? Depending on traffic and the transit, but I think I've got it figured out. So this is something I thought there was when I came into town, and I'm still pursuing connections. I reached out to some of the organizations. I've connected with one guy, but he's been busy, and then I was busy, and I'm sure there is. I'm sure there will be more. And my heart is set on, like I said, getting involved and getting some face-to-face interactions. Because why not? I mean, I've mentioned this before in the context of goals. In the context of goals, we may not always see the clear path. We may not have all the details worked out, but if we can take a step, then we get closer, and then we can reevaluate and take the next step again. And I've been doing that in my life, and that's what brought me here to the District of Criminals. I'm sure everything's going to come together. But my thoughts today, Hank, were sincerely on this God of ours. The way that everything happens and works, this God of ours is pretty amazing. And keeping that in my memory, keeping that in my mind is what I trust truly is the Jesus way, right? The way of Jesus is to walk with faith in God, God in your mind. Hey, Joe, your comment, Jack, if you talk to anyone important, get a pic and troll all of us endlessly. If this shit works, greatest story ever told. Joe,
That's what he does.
That's what?
That's what Joe Cool does.
I know. Well, it is. And yes, I could follow that example, and I probably will. However, Joe, I've wondered about this. The greatest story ever told in my mind is that of the Christ, right? Jesus. But my hope is to follow his way. And if God could allow my story to become one of those great stories, because it's already got a lot of ring to the biblical stories between my inspirations, right, regarding the Bible. I have Painless. God has blessed me. I've got a similar story to that of Job. Many of my friends pointing at me saying I'm to blame. And I'm like, no, really, really, I'm not. But I can't prove it. So, but beyond the suffering part and the, misunderstood, misrepresented, the wrongful termination, that of Jesus, right? Mine was painless and similar, but inspired by the prophets, Moses, by the Apostle Paul appealing to Caesar, right? My rights as an American were violated, so I'd like to appeal to Caesar and pursue those options. And while I'm at it, I'll bring the truth of our God's love. It shows up now and here. Welcome, Lumatami.
Now, welcome you, Jack. I'm going to do a much-needed Pop 6 tonight. And the trade-off to that is I could handle a lot of your issues with Flow State and Lindsay And the overall reason I would rest in peace this panelverse, that's why I have to panelverse president this shit. And I'd like you to show up and tell me how I don't follow Jesus. We'll get to that too. But just because nobody on your panel could nail it yesterday, there's nothing wrong with money. Jesus spoke a lot about how to money. He said the love of money is the root of all evil. And I'm sick of all your shit.
Now, Tommy, you didn't pay attention because I cited my favorite Bible verse, Isaiah 45:7. So you didn't pay attention yesterday. God created evil. You weren't paying attention. I'm sorry.
He gets fired up, doesn't he? So if I understood that right, Tommy will be streaming later on Station 33, and I do intend on joining him. And I think this is a safe addition as well. We've got Bullets and Barbecue showing up.
Hey, Jack, I never talk in your chat, ever. Them fuckers banned me already. Can you fix this problem down there or what?
Yeah, it could be fixed. I can't fix it, but
all I wanted to see was your fucking criminal record.
Can you fix your audio visual?
I couldn't hear what you said.
You can't hear me?
You broke up. You
okay,
broke up.
sorry. I'll have to go
So
on
what
my
is it?
computer.
What is it you wanted to know?
I wanted to see your criminal record, and they banned me for asking.
Well, can we discuss? So tell you what, maybe that was they jumped to a conclusion, but here, let's do this. Please be patient, Hank. Thank you. Can we discuss this? Because that's an interesting question. Who are you, and what's the purpose of my criminal record for you?
I want to see what you're preaching on the internet here, and I'd like to know your background.
Have you been tuned in long, or have you recently discovered?
You're going out the old kind of young. You're going out the young kids here. It's not a.
Who told you that?
And I'd like to see your record.
Well, here, you're breaking up again with your audio. If there's a better option available, you're welcome. Please hop over and see what's going on.
I don't blame them.
Yeah. He's here asking for my criminal record.
Yeah. As if he couldn't look it up himself. He has your name. He could have done the research and figured out himself, but he's come literally asking you, "Give me your records." No, you look it up. It's you do your own homework, not make Jack do it. He's busy.
Well, it's fascinating though, Hank. This is today's society. Where do people get off on thinking they can just go up to strangers and behave like that? And he was saying something though. His reasoning, it had something to do with going after children. I think he was trying to associate something like that with me, and that's why I'd like for him to return. We can figure out what's what. Welcome back.
Oh, Jack, where do you find these people?
I don't know, dude.
Where do they come from? Like, you get done with Margot, and then we get this retard, just like King said, my name is Tariq Bazzi. You want my criminal records? You go get them like Hank said. Jack, oh God, get them.
I guess he's too cheap to pay the money to do the lookup. He's too cheap to do the lookup.
Yeah.
What's this with children? What's going on with this? Marco hiring these people? What's going on?
You're roboting, Tarek.
Yeah, your audio is so bad. Please. Holy cows, man. Yeah. Hopefully he'll connect again and have a better. This
Yeah.
is, yeah.
So this is bizarre. So when he comes back, we'll ask him for his records.
That's a great idea. I mean, and I'm happy to discuss my records. I'm actually kind of proud of my records in many different ways. So the people that have wanted to bastardize me, they've been trying hard. You can see it. They're so desperate to bastardize me, to shame me, to paint me out to be what I'm not. But Hank, who I am is an ordinary man who feels very confident and comfortable in my relationship with God and all that is. So that means I've got a clear conscience, not spending time preparing defenses or attacks. I don't have enemies. I got friends. I try to remember birthdays. I try to remember anniversaries, but life's pretty easy. And here's why. Brothers and sisters, the lesson that I'm sharing, right? This escaping selfishness, it's up to you. You can be selfish. You can be limited by budgets. You can be limited by, the physical, material part of life. You can be limited by your lack of knowledge, but it's up to you. Every one of us can grow in what we learn, in what we do. Every one of us can change. Every one of us can improve. And the gospel that was offered in the Bible, the New Testament that Jesus brought, he was a master teacher, man. He was a gift for mankind to learn from, to know. He embodied divinity in the human form so that we could have an example. We're here to become perfected. It's as simple as that. And it can take many lifetimes if we allow it. But I don't want it to take lifetimes. I'm confident the world is already perfect in its creation. The world and the innovations, the development, everything, it has been perfect for the past because the past brought us to today. And today, where you and I sit, Hank, where all of us are at.
So I personally reject that notion because if it's already perfect, why would we need to improve? Why we need to eat? Why we need to end wars? So I say we're in constant improvement rather than perfect.
We don't need to. We get to. We get to live how we want. How I've chosen to want is I want to live with God. To me, I know God is love. So I want to live with love. And so if I live with love, I'm grateful for everything I have and everything I know right now, because now is where I live. And so if I'm filled with gratitude now, then everything is perfect for me. But I'm not thinking just about me. I'm thinking about the whole world. And so I found perfection with me in this moment, and I want to share this moment and the perfection with the world. So in a place of love with gratitude in the present, I ask myself and my heart, what would I love to do? Well, in the greatest scope, man, I'd love to speak with the United States government and the other nation representatives. And I'd love to talk with the world about ending wars, like for real. Because there's a lot of shit happening in this world. Sudan is a tragedy. Israel's a tragedy. Ukraine's a tragedy. There's tragedies happening in poverty, people in poverty dealing with natural disasters. It's up to us. God gave us everything we need to succeed. But do we have the willingness to succeed? Do we have the willingness to escape selfishness, to escape materialism, to escape ignorance? Do we have that willingness to grow? I found it in myself. And I know what it brings. It brings a commitment to the spirit, and the spirit is the essence of life. The spirit is with God. And we can all be with God in the present. What would you love to do, Hank, if money was no option, where you had everything, right? What would you love?
Oh, there's some video games I would like to play and modify and develop. I also do some other software, piece of software I want to improve too. And actually, if money's not an option, I need to modernize these laptops again, especially that's gonna make it difficult. I need new laptops that you could let me show you. I need newer laptops that you could just take the battery off, like so. They're designing laptops where you can't do that anymore. I had to make newer ones that you can do that, so I can swap the batteries like I did yesterday. If I had one of these, the ones that they designed, if I ran out of power, it's just game over. I couldn't just swap batteries, so I need newer laptops. I think there's some kinds that are newer that can still do that in the rugged class, but I haven't tried them yet. So maybe it's already done, but those are things I think about doing. If money was no object and had all the time I needed.
I like the idea of redesigning, renovating the design of some of the products. If society worked together without the corporate competition, where they have to fight and protect their originality and their patented designs. If corporations work together and the true focus was getting the best product, for the lowest cost, with the least, if the focus was truly on value, we'd have products that, the battery could be replaced. So it's not just a disposable technology or something that can't be repaired. We've created this society right now where, holy shit, electronics, the cost is so inexpensive. It's cheaper to replace than to repair, right? And I think that's what you're talking about.
Well, actually, so the repair thing's interesting. A lot of stuff just can't be repaired because you can't get the replacement parts. So that's a big issue. So you can't.
What value do you think that you provide that you're capable of telling people how to reassess their value, how things should be? What puts you, Jack, in a position of authority?
That's an interesting question.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a new one.
Well, no, it's the appeal to authority. You're wanting me to defend myself as a messenger of information.
You want people to listen to you as if you know some things and you could teach them some things. What is it that you have that makes you a viable teacher?
I have wisdom, and you don't recognize it. Because I dropped him to the back because Bullets and Barbecue had returned. I was going to bring him up, but now the device is not connected.
Just bring Dusty back then. Barbecue, get it straight, please.
Well, this attitude he's bringing, it's really
hostile.
It's unhealthy. It's your problem. It is.
What's unhealthy about it?
Your aggression, you're coming in with this conviction and expecting me to defend myself. Why? Who the fuck are you? Besides a doubter, right?
A doubter. Well, I'm a guy with a house. I'm a guy with 3 cars, a house, a channel that's successful. I tried to splash some of that on you, but you can't seem to do anything with it.
Dude, you're a
guy who had perfect opportunity yesterday to have the content on his channel and immediately drop the ball. Immediately.
Right.
That was the fastest fumble I've ever seen.
Jack wasn't that bad because he just
Hank, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Hank finished. I want to hear what Hank had to say.
Yeah. So it wasn't that bad, Jack, because it was good enough for Dusty to have a 2-hour stream on it. So it was good.
True. And where I was going is you and I have quite a different definition of what quality is, what content is.
Get the fuck out of here. I saw your eyes light up when Lindsay started saying, maybe we could bring it up now.
We have different values.
No, we don't. You just lied.
No, clearly we do. You assume I lie, and then you proceed to present false narratives. It's fucking hilarious, yet not really funny.
But here's the thing. All narratives are false. No narrative is the universe.
That is not accurate.
All narratives, when spoken from the perspective of the speaker, right, as we've all been doing now, are subjective.
Okay.
Very few people try to claim the truth, capital the truth, as theirs.
Right.
Who do that are typically deceptive, right?
Right. And those who just flat out deny the subjective narrative, the subjective facts, the truth from another, those who just flat out deny are not wise either. And you've been doing a lot of that, not just with me, but with others as well.
Let's say I just came to YouTube and I'm looking for a life coach. This Jack guy claims he has wisdom. How would I assess that?
Truly through experience. And
no, but I just came to YouTube for role playing. I just came here.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about you. What would I look at to go, you know what? This is the guy. This is my guy right here.
I'd encourage you pay attention to what I'm offering, see what you can understand, ask questions about the things that you may disagree with or not fully understand. That's
what I'm doing.
And then judge based on what is offered.
I'm literally taking your advice right now.
I appreciate it because you've been ignoring much of what I've said for a long time, dude, and you missed the opportunity.
You're ignoring the question, or you're sidestepping it.
All right, which please help me get back on track.
What is it besides your own fantasy that would make you have wisdom? Where is the wisdom? Where is it?
What would you like me to show you?
Whatever.
I mean, what would be a definition that you're?
I want you to choose what a good demonstration of it is. Where is your fucking wisdom?
Okay, this question is it's not an easy one to answer because I'm not sure what your definition is. Okay, what you're doing
I want you to respond according to your definition, not mine.
It sounds like you want me to justify my authority as far as what gives me the privilege of saying I have knowledge. Is that what you want to understand?
I want to understand, and I want you to use your definition because you're the one who claimed you had wisdom. I didn't come in here asking about wisdom. You retorted with it. You tell me where your wisdom is.
It's in the.
Is it in that hotel room?
Holy shit! No,
is it somewhere with your hubcaps?
You clearly don't. All this is it. You're showing yourself. You don't know what wisdom is. Welcome, denizen. You might be.
You haven't explained it to me yet.
Well, it's something that I can't help you understand. You've got to seek
There
it.
it is. Then you're not a good coach.
No, you're not receptive to learning. You're prideful and arrogant. It's the real life experience I had with you as well. You're self-centered, scatterbrained, prideful, and arrogant.
I'm pretty sure that all nights I came up with what we were doing. I showed you how to stream. I came up with the ideas. You were piddling around. Yeah.
So you know what? That's your story.
And
that's why you're prideful and arrogant, because you weren't paying attention, just like I fucking said.
I want to hear your story. If that's my story, then that means you have a different one. Go ahead. Who came up with what we're going to do each night?
Again, I actually explained this. Initially, I was excited with your suggestion. I thought, this is perfect. What a great idea. So I ran with that. I wanted to support you and the good idea. So the first one was, let's see if Jack can offer value in coaching. But you weren't paying attention. You selectively listened. You heard what you want. You came to the conclusion that you're perfect. Not
Jack,
only are you perfect, but everyone else was telling you you're perfect. You're in denial, dude. Real
Jack,
life.
Do you understand that idea was not because I was actually gonna treat you like a coach? It was a content idea. We're content creators. You're not a coach, Jack.
No.
You've never coached anybody, and you weren't coaching me. We were making content.
That is the foolish choice you made. Okay, you could have done both, but see, you don't fucking think. You think only of you. You don't think of me. And in real life,
you think only of you. We each think about ourselves.
In real life, you didn't take me seriously. Shame on you, Dusty. I'm going to take a break, and you can calm down, figure out where you are. Welcome, Denizen.
Greetings. It seemed from the perspective of the viewer that you guys had a good interaction when you met and got along. I didn't realize there was this contention.
I'm a man. I keep peace. I tried pointing it out to him. I tried explaining it to him. Even on the second night, I pointed out to him, you know what? I did a poor job. I admit it. I started the second stream out with humility. And I even said, you brought this good idea, gave me an opportunity. And he was right. I didn't see it. I gave him the benefit of the doubt that he was being honest, but he wasn't. He was just focused on creating content and therefore continuing his narrative to make a mockery of me. But on the second day, what I realized is that the first day I got in the teacher's seat and I was talking to him like he was a student. Well, that's not the way to connect to him. He's very prideful, very egoic. The way to help him is to connect to his heart and allow his heart to lead his answers. And that's something I've been figuring out how to do with myself, but I haven't had much practice with others. And so, like Flo said, I admitted publicly, I don't have a lot of experience working with clients. Apparently, I'm too rude or something.
So to be fair, I've been knowing each other for like a couple years. You still said don't understand what you had to offer. So maybe it's all on our end, but I'm not sure.
Well, this is maybe why you're so defensive at the question. I mean, I obviously, I think I have a certain opinion about the intent of the question, right, and the way in which it was asked. And I think that's what it takes to trigger you. Is maybe it's a place where you're not very confident. You do have some explaining to do. In other words, here's your imperfections are showing, and then someone comes along and ignores the entire surface of the vessel and shines a flashlight on the crack and says, "Hey, Jack, you know."
That's
It's
somewhat.
it's a little from column A and a little from column B, right?
It's a mixture. I've certainly had my flaws, and people love to highlight the flaws of someone who's, because of what I say, I get accused of placing myself on a pedestal. Oh, you think you're better because you're teaching me? Well, I learn from everybody. Okay. And if you actually listen to my true explanations, who I am, I've got a sound background, right? Despite the accusations, and I'm honest about that, there's been confusion about me. But what I've been getting frustrated with, Denizen, and it took me a while to realize, even in the online, what Dusty was doing there, testing my authority, testing my credibility. Well, the burden on me that everyone has been placing, I'm not perfect. Okay, so if people aren't willing to listen, to understand, they'll never fucking understand. If they're listening to prove me wrong, well, eventually I'll prove myself wrong. I'm not perfect, but I know what the hell I'm talking about. I can explain the conclusions I share in multiple different perspectives, multiple different ways. I can include God, I can exclude God, I can focus on consciousness, I can focus on energy, I can focus on logic, I can focus on all sorts of different things to support the conclusions that I arrive at. But for whatever reason, the world has been wanting to prove me wrong and to make me prove my worth, my place, wherever
Because
I
you
go.
have ideas. That comes with the territory.
Yes, exactly. They do
You
the same
don't
thing.
get to tell people there's a better way and not have them get defensive, call you out, tell you you're wrong. Like that's just what they're
Okay.
gonna do.
Yeah, and
Okay.
what Denison and I do is we walk them through it step by step and drag them to the conclusion rather than let them do the work because I can't trust them to figure out on their own.
Well,
Also, people who won't walk with me get left
that,
behind.
well, see, that has been the problem. I get people opposing me. They don't want to listen to my explanations. They want to argue about every detail I bring up. And then I try leading, Hank. I try asking them questions, right, to drag them to see what I'm saying, but they won't cooperate. So
instead of asking them questions, I always just have. When I do ask the questions, I have all the answers ready for them. I already have the answers ready, and I tend not to ask questions. I just show them the thing. That's what I usually do.
It occurs to me that there's two types of intelligence, and I use that word on the scale of wisdom because it kind of applies. It gets a little grayer with wisdom, but on the but the types of intelligence are ones that a type of intelligence that will guide you through the way the world that it is, and a type of intelligence that will guide you through the world the way that people perceive it to be. And if you have a lot of knowledge about the way things are, that's necessarily going to appeal to people because most people live in the mode of seeing the way the world that they want it to be, the way that they perceive it.
right.
If your goal is to move people from one end of that spectrum to the other, you have to have both kinds of intelligence. I'll readily admit I don't have it. I'm terrible at that. I don't relate to people who create their own narratives based on, just feelings and what they've been told.
Oh, I do have it, but I can't put all the pieces together. I need to figure out attraction and the way I
And
can.
this makes me think of a third type of intelligence too, which is your own ability to recognize your own narrative telling, right? So you've got your own subjective experience with the universe, which is off. No matter how good it is, it's off. You've got everybody else's subjective experience with the universe, and then you have whatever it is that will actually get people what they want in life, which to me is an entirely different thing. The things that, like, I can have hour-long discussions with PhDs about physics because I know stuff. That doesn't bring me any success as is measured by the average American male, for example. It doesn't give you any of those things. And I want to preface what I'm about to say with some criticism, because I don't want it to come across as if I'm gaslighting you or blowing smoke in your ass. I don't think you're perfect. I don't think you have all the answers. I don't think you're going to end all wars. But that being said, I think your path is a lonely one because of your vision. And I respect a lot of your insight. And where I don't think you have insight is in other people's ability to accept your vision. I don't think they will. Most people don't want the kind of awareness that you have. And you value it, you appreciate it, it's helped you. I can say a lot of it's helped me, but the average person has no use for it. They're not even living the same life or playing the same game that you're playing. They're measuring success on an entirely different scale.
Right. They have no clue what they're missing out on.
For sure.
Okay. And this is why I've chosen, well, I've made my choices partly because of who I am, right? What I value, what I believe is important, and partly based on the circumstances. Now, I've devoted myself to the spiritual path. Truly, I was inspired by others. First, it was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and then the ideas of Gandhi, and then Paramahansa Yogananda. I mean, and of course, Jesus.
How many Gandhis are there?
Well,
how many MLKs are there?
I wanted to follow his path. That was my very first inspiration because I saw the similarities between me and him. He died representing poverty, right? He started the Poor People's Campaign. He wasn't just active in the civil rights action. He was active against the wars of the U.S. imperialist nation back then. He was standing up for the working class. So in 2018, I saw the similarities between me and him, and I thought, you know what? Fuck, I can do a lot more. I'm white. I can get away with saying things that he couldn't, right? So that's when I started trying to think bigger. And being at that time, 18 years at the post office, I didn't want to walk away from that comfortable job, man. That was a good income. That company had taken care of me and my family for my adult life. So I had a loyalty to the post office, ideas of trying to do more following Dr. King. And so that's why I started with the headquarters of the Postal Service. Still trying to figure out how to get their attention again, too.
I think that may be the issue. You're starting too big. It starts small and work your way up. You can't make a freaking mound of fault starting with the first stone.
Yeah, and there's no appreciation for the small things in between, the journey within. This is where you should be focused. That's where the meaning is. And Jack, your path. Let's talk about what you envision and what you think your path should be in the terms in which you and I have discussed at length, and I agree with. And I think make you a good person inside, where we're in agreement. I'm not talking about where we're in disagreement. That path is a lonely one, Jack. No one's gonna like that Jack. No one's gonna listen to him. No one's gonna trust him. He's gonna look like an old fool. The good Jack I'm talking about. So you take that Jack and wrap him in all the pain and defensiveness that you're experiencing, especially going through this public transformation that you are. I see this. I'm not surprised by the outcome. That's all I can say.
I was truly blown away by the outcome, because I truly thought that people would get on board with the new me, right? I mean, never in my life did someone come into my life and say, hey, I think we can change the world. I think we can end wars. You want to work with me? Nobody ever came to me with ideas like that in my life, but I've gone to hundreds of people like that.
Have you studied the opposite end of the spectrum, the manipulation, appealing to the lowest common denominator?
Yeah, how we watch Dusty's show.
Yeah, like the effectiveness of fear and vicariousness and drama, or even something like what's that book, How to Win People and Influence Others, and something like that. It's a very long time.
Yeah, it's been friends and influence people by, who was it?
There you go.
Carnegie, wasn't it?
Yeah, Carnegie.
Right.
Dale Carnegie. Yes.
Yeah.
There's no virtue in that book. I haven't read it from cover to cover, but it's the methods are quite effective. But they have nothing to do with like serving God or you know what I'm saying? Like it has everything to do with appealing to the nature of the monkey that you're trying to convince.
Yes. And actually that's what I was learning. When I first was flying to Washington, D.C., right? Here, if you'll allow this story. I got inspired with the idea. I sent an email to executives at the post office, said, I want to talk to you about possibly creating an ad hoc position for me or a detail for me with the idea of improving the workplace. And I reached out to the right people at the right time. They were willing to have a conversation with me. They set up a phone call, scheduled a phone call for like 3 weeks in advance. And at first I was kind of ignorant and prideful and thought, 3 weeks for a phone call? Come on now, who the fuck are these people? Well, they're executives of one of the largest employers of the nation, and they were making time to listen to me. So I started figuring out, what is it I'm going to say? What is it I want to bring? Breaking it down, I wanted to bring the concept of mindfulness, simply paying attention to the thoughts inside to resolve the conflicts before they end up in the workroom floor, tying up the time of the shop steward and the supervisor. And, so I had all these ideas, all this data. Let me get to the point, back to where the conversation was. In preparing for this, I started studying successful ways of communicating. There was a book called The Pitch, I think it was. I can't remember the author, but it was all about framing discussion and some patterns and techniques for successful negotiation. Well, as I'm looking into this, it all came from studies in psychology, studies in sociology. So that's what marketing is. It's just an application of patterns found from study of human behavior. So the ideas, what I've been tested on, who are you to teach? What's your credibility? My record, my reputation, it's a big burden for me. I don't know how to overcome it, especially without witnesses, especially without, a day in court. But I think this is the test. God allowed me to tune in to the collective mind. I had time away from family and work and opportunity to really learn some things. So I tuned in to some of the most amazing scholars and teachers I could find in many different fields. And I studied history, politics, economics, religion, consciousness. I studied a lot of different things. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with it.
I can only speak personally. I don't know if this has anything to do with you. This is my attitude. I listen to those who have something to offer to me. I speak to those who believe I have something to offer them, and I leave the rest to do what they're going to do. And I lose my patience sometimes when I'm dealing with idiots. I lose my patience sometimes when I'm dealing with trolls. But for the most part, I don't even like that last seconds. My irritation over a stranger, questioning, what I'm saying, it lasts seconds because in the greater picture of things, it has absolutely no meaning to me whatsoever.
See, you've gained some wisdom. That is wisdom. Learning how to reset, how to let go, how to continue, and learning when to cut ties and to walk away, to say, yeah, you're not worth my time. I've been tested and probably made a lot of mistakes in that aspect, but I want to get this question because this is something I've been considering. In your view, what makes a good life coach and a good leader? It all comes down to the same thing. In my past, in my heart, for a long time, even before I had my son, I had a hope of a father, and I wanted to be a father. And it turned out I wasn't a very good dad. I wasn't a very good man. A good father is a good man. A good man can be a good father. A good man is a coach. A life coach is a good man. It's a good woman, someone who's in your corner, willing to be encouraging and honest and supportive. And what's a good leader? It's a good man. It's a good woman. The whole practice, everything comes down to the image and likeness of Christ Jesus. You become a good man, a good person who is authentic and honest, courageous, generous, creative, faithful. You become an example like that. You are a good friend, a good leader, a good coach, a good teacher. You're a good father, mother. You're a good brother. It all comes down to being a good person. It's not hard, but it is challenging. How about that? Life. It's not hard, but it is challenging. That's not accurate. There's some people, life is fucking hard. There's people right now who, guys, there is a sickness. There's a human crisis happening in the history of mankind throughout the world of today. The continuing assault on the innocents, the continuing neglect of righteousness through the governments, the corporations, it's all being enabled by the people. Brothers and sisters, we are the people. We are the men and women of this time. The Savior is in the mirror. We're here to not only save ourselves, but to help save our neighbors as well. And every man or woman who enters into our life is our neighbor in that experience, in that moment. Swinging the conversation earlier, there was observation that Jack looks happier. And I mentioned the last couple of days I've been practicing more surrender. And truly, the path of surrender, the path of Christ, it is so simple. You do the next right thing. Always. Always be looking for the next right thing. Now, what is right? Well, that varies situation by situation, moment by moment. But what is right is true. And if we align ourselves with what is right and true, you will feel in the present time. When you're aligned with your path, you feel an expansion. When you stray from your path, you feel a contraction, right? And we don't always have the right words to, especially as men, right? Not to make an excuse, but I know how I grew up. We may not always have the right words to express, to explain the feelings that we feel, but it is so important to pay attention and to understand the feelings you feel, because that's where the spirit is communicating with us.
So anybody who wants to know what kind of wisdom or experience Jack has to offer, maybe it's not impressive to you. Maybe it's small, and maybe you figured this out when you were 10 years old, and you're teaching the rest of the world how to do it already. But I would just encourage you to rewind the last 2 minutes and listen to it 3 times and see if it has anything to offer you. Because from what I see in the world, most y'all motherfuckers can't do what he just said, and you need to. And the fact that you're not is fucking it up for the rest of us. So I could be wrong. I could just be an idiot who can't see how wrong I am. I'm cool with that. That doesn't bother me. But from my perspective, y'all can't even do that shit. So, yeah.
Thank you. Sincerely, thank you.
If you can't understand any of the shit that he said, I'll translate it into atheism for you if you want. Come hit me up.
Dude, that could be exactly what I need, because this guy doesn't understand my language. He's from my past. And I was thinking about his words again the other day. He felt, from what I understood from him, I came on with too much religion. I came across as too religious. And Charles and Maria have had their own past experiences with religion that caused them to want to shy away. Kind of brings back into the situation where I'm at with flow. People reject me and punish me because I'm the messenger of what I've learned. But I'm telling you guys, it's great news. What I'm saying, it's great news.
So I want to get to 3 things. I've been quiet for a while.
Yes.
So the first thing and most important thing, pretty much to start a show when you said corporations everyone's not joining together. But here's the thing: people get to choose who they associate with, and the corporations are no different. But they also need a really, really long supply chain to get anything done. So I'm going to recommend to you, Jack, and you, Dennison, The Death of Affordable Computing, Terrorist Impact and Investigation by Gamers Nexus. It's a 3-hour-long documentary about how terrorists are going to affect the PC builders, computer builders in our country. They had to source parts from all over the world just to have stuff to assemble. Corporations had to work together, had to work with millions of people just to get anything done at all. So people working together, even though not everyone's working together in the same project.
Yeah, we are cooperating in a way in our competition.
Yeah.
We cooperate on kind of like the base level things.
Well, yes, there's varying degrees. We've got a hybrid of everything. right? The American way. It's part socialism, part capitalism, part neoliberalism and corporatism, and it's got all these different parts to it. But there's truly, throughout time, right? Mankind first had to identify different parts of knowledge. We had people throughout history breaking down and identifying different aspects of sciences. Standing on the development of knowledge, I've learned a lot about business. I mean, seriously, I could succeed as a capitalist if money and that was my focus. I've got a lot of strategies and a lot of tools in the toolkit on what I could be doing. It's not my focus, and maybe I am, maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot and making my life more difficult. But here's the point. Golly geez. In the study of business and practice, there's methods for identifying efficiency and improving efficiency. And if we take this mindset to the greater picture, we can totally reform and transform all of the good things that we've got in the world, and we can make them better, and we can overcome a lot of the problems like the wealth inequality and the wars. It's time for mankind to grow up, to learn from the past. And I'm telling you, I'm not alone in my mission and my ideas. I am alone on this path so far.
So this comes to my second point. This is what Dusty Flow State is trying to do with you. He's trying to make you grow as a content creator. This is how he does it. He's doing it out of love.
I believe that.
I don't know if that motivates Jack, though. Sorry, your third point.
I'm not sure what motivates Jack exactly. Well, I do know what motivates him, but I don't know if everyone else can follow him. Even though I can follow him, I can't follow Jack to Jack's standards. I can't follow Jack to exact standards, so it's really hard. Really hard. I can't even figure out how to do it. So.
And yet you are. Yet you're doing it. And this is what I think I'm trying to explain. It's the trying part. When we, particularly in trying to, in the mental realm, trying to understand, that trying part, the part that is trying, is actually in the way of accepting. It's in the way of realizing. And this is what I've had to learn to trust for myself. I don't know how to explain it so it's received, but I know what I'm trying to say. It's the ego mind, the mind that feels like it doesn't know or thinks it doesn't know. It gets confused, it gets lost. And yet the higher mind, the spirit that is with us, it's leading us through our path. And it's up to us to figure out, why is my path? Why am I experiencing this in my path today? What am I to do with this that I am experiencing? And then if you have a game with it, you play it like a game. It's like you're literally on an Easter egg hunt every single day, trying to figure out which aspects of this world are for me and which aspects am I for this world. Where do I fit in? That's where I'm at right now.
Are you open to playing that game with Dusty?
I'd love to have a friendship with him. He's a pretty cool dude, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Well, then you're gonna have to chill out and stop.
You're
insulting him, and that doesn't mean he's going to stop insulting you.
I know.
That's the thing. It's you'll have to be the only one who stops doing it, I think, in that scenario.
Okay, well, Denizen, thank you, because that's the role I'm playing in a bunch of
Yeah, it's fucked up, Jack. But you don't get to tell people that you're an expert at it unless you can really keep it up.
Yeah.
You got to keep it up. You have to be the only one not losing his shit. And then I don't even know if I'm not capable of it, right? I don't know if it's humanly possible. I don't mean Jack per se. When I say I don't know if you can always be the objective one who isn't all, like sometimes you're going to be the Dusty in the situation. You're going to be the guy looking to be uncooperative. It's going to be your fault. So I don't even know if that's not possible. But what you have to do at the very least is be the guy that when it's not your fault doesn't, react.
Make it my fault. Yeah.
Yeah. Take it on. It's like, give me that blame. I'll take it.
I've been doing that a lot. Sorry, go ahead, Hank.
Yeah, get down to my third point. I tried mindfulness. It doesn't work with my mind. I actually switched to dialectical thinking. I switched to dialectics because that's what engages my body properly. That's what keeps me sane, keeps me in control. Because with go mindfulness, I'll be a wild animal just like Officer Snaps. So I use dialectics. I pretty much use myself against myself to make sure I'm focused and coherent.
How do you test it, or how do you grow that practice?
So I solve problems, and sometimes I use video games, and sometimes music. I'm not good at music to simulate problem solving. So that's how I do. I do problem solving, and that's how I test it, because solving problems requires a context to know where you're even starting from.
Yeah, so music is a big one for me too. I don't know if I would have again, I'm not preaching that I have any worth to anybody else, but as far as what I value about myself that's brought me joy and peace of mind and perspective, having music as an outlet is dramatically responsible for those accomplishments. I don't know if I could have done them without it.
There's a lot of subtleties in the experience and in the words. The thought that came up, Hank, because I'm not sure if I fully understand what you mean by the process of dialectic thinking, but I'm wondering if those are methods of distraction from an overactive mind.
Yes. It is this method of distraction from an overactive mind. Yes, absolutely. Because otherwise I think too much, and if I go mindful, my mind just activates more, and it doesn't help me. It hurts me, because then I won't be in control.
It can, but
it doesn't do me right. It can help someone, but it's not that me. It's not that person.
Not yet. I just wanted you to consider the downside here. Let me not be negative. Obviously, the positive sign is that you're finding ways to give your mind a break, to relieve from the distraction. Holy cows. Somewhere in time, blessings, thank you. Mr. Talcott, if you could capture boots on the ground, Library of Congress, Greek gods adorned on walls and ceiling would be a treat to see. Godspeed in DC. Thank you very much. That gives me ideas, and there's a lot of potential and ideas of what I can do, and I will go down that way. I intend to bring more and to do more. Although admittedly, I see this online thing. I'm not here for my focus is not on income or revenue stream. I know those things are potentials, but my real heart is in doing what I'm saying, finding a way to change this world. and that's why I'm in DC. Back to your practice, though, Hank. The downside with distraction, while you can get a relief, and it sounds like you've got some healthy ways. Those are very healthy ways to relieve and distract your mind from the other things, right? But the downside to distraction is just that. We can get lost in entertainment or procrastination, perhaps, instead of using that mind energy and time for growth, exploration, whatever, creativity. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but I talked to the shrink class for decades, and they don't understand my issue. They can't solve it. All they can do is give me their script, and stuff goes wrong. They'll try to fix it in extreme ways that doesn't address the root cause. So I've been over this. I've been through this, and I try it their way. Their way just doesn't work for me, and they can't comprehend it.
I have a theory based on that, Hank. You're looking in the wrong place for the answers. The answers for you are going to come from in you, and other people can inspire you. They can offer ideas for you to consider. But if I was to work with you, Hank, or encourage you in any way, I would encourage you to consciously look at growing your levels of trust, self-confidence. And there's ways. There's real easy ways to achieve goals. It's just a matter of getting clarity. And you've got confidence. Just, I'd encourage you to bring it over in different areas of your life. Because what I'm hearing is doubt. And doubt, the only thing that can replace doubt is answers. But people get comfortable and used to doubt. I'm speaking from experience. I didn't realize it, but I'd normalized living in doubt rather than having the confidence to make a choice. I was afraid of making a mistake, so I just put off making choices and then live in doubt and confusion. And I did that with God. For much of my life, I doubted I could understand, so I proved I couldn't. And then I thought I could.
Oh, so it's not. So actually, a little different. I always take a position, even when I doubt. I'll take a position. I'll speculate on whether this one or this one. Even if I don't know, I put a dart on the board. I put a T on the green. So so that my problem's a little different than yours.
Well, I'm sure it is. But I want to encourage you that even without the doctor's success in the past, things are changing, right? And maybe we'll come up with ideas that'll help you.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe the doctors failed, but since the doctors failed this group so consistently, I'm not investing any more of my treasury in it. They failed too much. I don't trust them, and until they talk to me on the public record, when it's recorded, they're not going to get any more investment from me.
Well, we're all on our
the specifics about what you guys are talking about.
I don't know enough.
That's meta stuff, right? Like Panelverse stuff.
Is it meta? It's meta. It's not necessarily Panelverse, but still, the shrinks, they're not doing a good job. I think we can all agree to that. They're not doing a good job. Their methods are shoddy. They have a poor history.
Yeah, we don't have an effective mental health foundation in the world or in this country, if that's what you mean. Is
exactly.
That what you got?
That's exactly what I mean. Until they're willing to own up to their faults and actually seriously try to correct them, which requires them to go on the record when they talk to someone like me, then I will not invest any more of my energy on them.
Wait, what triggers your response not to waste any more energy? What
Oh,
was the first half of that?
So the shrinks do not want to be recorded. That way they can't. They can't be caught for their deception. So I can't trust them. I mean, I'm recorded at work all the time. If I'm paying them and they're working with me, they can expect to be recorded, or we can't even get anywhere.
Interesting.
That's an interesting perspective. The topic of mental health in our collective society, really, it's kind of hit and miss, right? It's like any other profession. You've got people who know what the hell they're doing. They do some great work. And then you got others who are just there for a paycheck. I've experienced both. But the entire mainstream education system, it does not prepare people. Firsthand experience, I saw problems with the mental health systems, and well, opinions ended my career. So this is part of the reason I'm all in changing this fucking world, because I've faced many problems in it alone, and it sucks. So
it's a testament to the unlikelihood of people joining your cause, unfortunately, Jack. Don't get mad at me. I know how you feel about that, but that's just my perspective. This is why when I do the math, I come up with a different conclusion.
I've exposed myself to, I don't know what you've seen. I don't know what you've discovered, right? But in my path, particularly online, I found a lot of encouraging groups, a lot of inspiring people. I believe evidence shows we, mankind, all around this world, we're going through a shift. There's a collective change that's happening, and it's perhaps supernatural, right?
I'll grant you all that.
It's time. It was prophesized by the different cultures.
There's lots of times, though.
I think
this is one of those times, right?
This
and
is
I suspect, but this is how we always feel if we're paying attention. If you're a forward-looking person, right? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but based on the little time I've known you, I would guess that you spend a majority of your time looking forward.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so that that's going to give you that sensation of the inevitability and the urgency of what's to come. And I don't think it's false for that reason, right? It's just ever changing and evolving because you're on the brink of change in your mind, regardless. That's where you live, that's where you dwell, right?
Where I found the kingdom of heaven. Truly. It's the past is done. We live in a society that's so caught up. I mean, the entire conservative party, think about that, conservative. They want to conserve, preserve. They want to maintain the traditional hierarchy, the separation. People use words, but they don't really understand what they're saying and especially what they're doing. But brother, we're living at a time. The veil is lifting. It's fading. It's dissolving. The veil between ignorance and consciousness. That's what I'm talking about. There's many who are asleep at the wheel, living in the past, right? Focusing on memories and unhealed trauma keeps getting in their way. I used to live that way. It's a subconscious way of living. I included in my subconscious way of living, I numbed my mind with booze. I distracted myself with television, with video games, with gambling, with womanizing, all sorts of things. I was running from my problems in my head because I didn't know how to face them. I was afraid of being wrong, afraid of others being right. Well, it turned out sometimes that's the way it works out. But the point is, when we develop these subconscious ways of living, which this is what the obedience and punishment society is all about, you get people afraid of punishment and they live in fear. They're afraid of poverty. They live in fear. Fear makes people less clear in the mind and more controllable.
Word.
So, what's that?
I was just saying I was gonna interrupt you to say that. And more easily controlled.
Yep.
I just want to remind anyone listening again, if you think that Jack has zero wisdom and experience to offer, I'm a retard apparently. All the tests, IQ tests I took, and all the achievements I've made when I was in school were probably false, because I'm the dumbest person I know. Because again, just to rewind the last 2 minutes and listen to it 3 times, and if you need it translated into atheist, I'm your man.
You are. Thank you. I've been learning from this experience, right? People like you, Denizen, you and our friend Powder Dusty. I'm disappointed he and I had the experience that we did, but we're grown men. We'll figure it out. We'll get over it. And I'm sure we can become friends again.
He's one of the smartest people in this space, too. That's
he is sharp.
I'll third that. Yes, I'll vouch for that. He is one of the smartest people in the space. Yes.
So are you two gentlemen as well. You both bring, very reasoned and wise perspectives to many things.
This place doesn't have a high intelligence ceiling, so that's why we are the smartest.
And I would like to reiterate that what does make me wise is I truly believe I'm utterly full of shit.
I
don't have the slightest idea what the hell I'm talking about.
I think you sell yourself short, because you don't have to be confident in you, but be confident in the wisdom, in the truth. And there's a fine line, right? You got to
I'm the exact opposite, Jack. I'm confident as hell. It's the truth that I have doubts about.
See, I chose to replace my doubts.
Here's the thing. I can't, you and I have had this conversation at length.
Yeah.
And I can't question your logic because I agree with most of it. But you are taking a shortcut by having Jesus, right?
Yes.
It leaves me at a conversational disadvantage.
Yes.
Just take Jesus yourself. It's pretty easy. That's what I did. I just picked up Jesus, but I can take the same shortcut.
Denizen, the thing is if you take
where do I find Jesus?
Yeah, he does probably in front of a Home Depot or Lowe's.
Well, that's the Easter egg, right? That's the game. Where do you find the likeness of Christ? Start in the mirror. I see it in you. I see your calmness, your caring, your wisdom. I see those attributes in you, and that is. So you already have a relationship with perfection. It shines through occasionally. All of us do. That's what I consider to be God. I was thinking about the words of Jesus earlier today, too, where even he said, no man is good. I've been recognizing that if goodness comes through me, it is by the grace of God. right? Because that's where all goodness is from.
I see
And
the opposite, though.
do you? How so?
I see pure chaos, and
Mm,
if I like try to infuse myself with because I don't think of it as negative. I think of myself as an optimist and a positive person.
okay.
But I can recognize why a lot of other people don't see that or agree with that. So then I can adopt their vision of positivity, and then
Okay.
I can take it upon myself and try to infuse myself with that idea of positivity. Then it just becomes the ultimate form of acceptance, because what's perfect, what's pure, what's good is still that ultimate chaos and balance between evil and good. We don't ever flip the coin to where, oh, things are it's just going to be peace now, the end of all wars, for example. There's has to be chaos, destruction, mayhem in order for there to be love and peace and harmony, because I see examples of nothing else anywhere in the universe, and I can only yield to this universe.
Hmm.
Yes, unless I can go to another one, but I see it pretty the same way Denison does. The end of all wars would take the end of all
Well,
things to accomplish.
So, can you celebrate the goodness of the perfection, right? If you allow perfection to be that which is, including the flaws, right? The flaws and the shadows, those are just part of the uniqueness and the depth. They bring a depth to the experience. So if you can accept that there is dark and light in the balance, and there's always this opposition, if you can celebrate the wholeness of that, the glory of the perfection that includes the darkness and the evil, because you say that I'm not convinced of what you said. You said that war must happen. Even if that is true, where must war happen, and for how long? Because I believe there is a balance, and throughout the eternity of time, mankind has descended into the depths of darkness and ignorance, truly walked away from the light while we were warring and crusading and burning people, witches, and all sorts of crazy shit. And then you get into the modern time with the human experimentation, all the micro tests and toxins explored out during world wars and the covert operations of today. I believe in the greater scope, it's time for the light to take over. Seems like the natural progression for us. And the light is when I say that, what I mean is overcoming the war, overcoming the divisions, escaping the collective selfishness, collective materialism, the collective ignorance. Because it's only through those choices that we're divided. And it's only because we're divided that we have governance and wars.
Even I'm in a world where we're all doing that. There has the psychopath must exist. The killer is somewhere in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And that, so like what returned balance to the Force? It was when Vader threw the Sith into the whatever and killed him. There's there's always got to be a Sith.
Okay.
There's always going to be an apprentice of darkness.
Oh, even
It's
worse than the Sith, there's always the Dark Jedi to just randomly spring up. So even worse than the Sith, even we got rid of the Dark Jedi would just happen to be happen because they get connected to the Force automatically somehow.
Facts, and the Jedi themselves too. Like without darkness, light is just blindness.
Yeah.
You know, what is light without dark? It can't reveal anything. It's just a blinding white emptiness.
I love that concept. And that's why it makes sense that God has given us the darkness and the light. The one God creates the good and the evil. And so what you said, that comparison, it actually supports my theory, right? I believe we're supposed to follow in the likeness of God, the Most High. And the Most High uses the darkness, uses the shadow for its greatest purpose, for the purpose of good. So we're here to internally take our darkness and use it towards the good. Take your anger and use it as fuel towards solving a problem. Take your sadness and flip that around as motivation to overcome. So
Hey, hold on, Jack. It sounds like you're giving good advice, and I just want you to know you can't ever do that.
I know. Blessings. Thank you for that. Because there's people who are convinced that I cannot. And
maybe they still are. I don't know what to tell you. I have to be one of the most ignorant people on the planet. That's all I can say about that. I'm totally okay with that role.
I'm grateful you're here. I actually think in the greater picture, I think this is the story that God has set for us. That this is going to be the treasure and the successful hero's journey, mankind. We were created in the image of the Most High, and we were led astray. We were taught how to war and to battle and to overpower. And as a result of that, we became stronger, wiser, better prepared for the uncertainties that life might bring. But I believe in the greater story, right? The fallen angels, they're the ones who tried to edge God out, right? And chose to place themselves as some sort of supremacy. And so they were sent here to the world, excommunicated, so to say. But we, if you take the stories and the ideas, if we follow the way of Jesus, we discover the kingdom of heaven, which leads us to the eternal life and the heavenly presence. And if we prove ourselves worthy, well, then that's the whole idea. We're going to face temptation. We're going to face the adversary. We're going to face the opposer. We're going to face the accuser. So when we overcome those things, we are righteous in all ways. We're worthy of the heavenly gift. And I think the story is we're going to lead the devil back to God. And then
8 out of 10 people don't even want to participate in that.
I know.
Don't
So
even.
far.
And then it's just a few of them that think that's what they want, and still, you know.
Yes, and I'm not sure I want to participate. I'll make the devil work for God, but I'm not sure I'm going to try to lead the devil back to God, because that's probably above my pay grade.
I'll step up. I'll give it a try. But hey, Denizen, what you said, 8 out of 10, that reminded me. Like I said, I've studied business and a lot of the different philosophies. There's Pareto's principle. It's a great practice that applies in business where, as it said, 80% of your value comes from 20% of the effort. You know, so the idea is spend 80% of your time on the small amount that returns the greatest effort. You start managing yourself. The Pareto's principle, the rule of 80-20. So in the 20% that get it, we're the ones that matter. Welcome, Philip. Blessings to you, brother. Good to see you again.
Mic check.
Sounding
those
beautiful.
Other 80% though will start wars, Jack.
They will. They'll war with themselves, though, too, if they can't find an enemy. That's how the devil works, right? The concept of the devil. We either serve God, serve the angels as messengers of love and light, or we'll serve the darkness. And what the demons will do is the demons will convince people to attack the light, to attack the goodness, and do the work of the devil. But if there's not goodness around, destroy themselves. That's what I used to do.
So, Jack, I wanted to explore something with you because you've been talking about fear. And I wanted to know more about the history of fear with you. Out of all the concepts to think about personalities and what people do, how did you hone in or how did you capture fear? Was the key?
It was I was in the backyard meditating. I was dealing with the loss of the family and the labor dispute and all of this stuff going on, trying to figure things out. And I started recognizing, right, how I spend my time, it really matters based on how I feel. And I'd heard the idea that we live in duality. Things are opposites and polarities. And this was early. I didn't have my mind in that clearly, but I looked at all the feelings I felt, anger, sadness, judgment, all of this stuff. It came from a fear. And everything good in my life, it was a shift or a taste of love, whether it was gratitude or safety or comfort or pleasure. It's all the good things. So light and dark, I saw fear or love. And originally I invested in the web domain Living Positive Now. That was going to be my message, was living positive, right? That's the way you do this. But then you get a lot of these people that are playing this spiritual blindness game where they just focus on the positive and they ignore everything else. So that's not the message I wanted. To live without fear, it doesn't deny that there is fear, but the idea is to replace the fear with love. Love your fear. Have a relationship with the fear, with the anger, with the sadness. Allow a relationship so that you can love it and understand why is it there. My fears drove me insane, and I didn't know it. Love helped heal me. But there's others who say I'm still insane. So, what do the facts show? I don't know.
A little from column A and a little from column B.
Right.
I never thought that fear was the opposite, or the dark of love. I didn't think about that. That's a good way of putting it, Jack. Thank you. Now, I had another question that came up because you're talking about, and I understand one of the ways to get rid of fear or to release fear or overtake fear is to find religion, find Jesus, find love. Is there a way for an atheist to do it? And what ways do you think an atheist could do it? Because I couldn't do it as an atheist. I could only do it as somebody who found religion. So what are your thoughts on that? Does just someone have to find religion or find something to follow in order to overtake fear, or is there other ways of doing it? Because a lot of people don't want to follow religions. They're afraid, I guess. I don't know, maybe.
There are atheist cults, like the atheist cult of Austin. You could try one of those.
And what steps are they taking to overtake fear?
They use anger to drown out their fear.
Do you think that's good, Jack, to use anger? Oh, okay. Why?
Anger is an amplification of fear.
Yes.
I think they burned it out after so much use, though.
I tried to consider your question, and I think the answer is yes. Okay. An atheist can overcome their fears without bringing the word and the concept God into the equation by following logic and reasoning. I believe that can be done. Now, that's the more difficult way. I don't know sincerely if it can be done. I know that overcome it. Here, what overcomes fears? Answers. When we have a different answer, one that we're comfortable with, that we're okay with, we're no longer afraid. Even if it's an answer we don't like, if it's an answer that we can find peace with in a relationship with, we're no longer afraid. So in my mind, all answers come from God. The truth is the answer that we need. We don't need lies. We don't need imagined hypothetical things. We need true answers that we can apply and we can relate with. Well, for me, I started defining, actually, as I said, the Bible and Jesus was the last place I wanted to look. So it was the last place I went. But for me, I looked at my life and looked practically and realistically. What is it that governs me? What governs my options and my choices? Because I'm responsible for me. I make my choices, and I've accepted that a long time. But what limits me or empowers me is the truth. It's the wisdom that I know. So for me, I started looking at truth as God. It's a mystery. It's a power. It will set us free from our confusion, from our deception. The truth is the answers we want, but to find the truth, that's where love comes in, the magic of love. Because if we have a mind where we're afraid and anxious and we're at war, well, we're going to find the answer that fits the war. But if we're at a place of peace and wholeness and faithfulness, we can see beyond the war into the solution, beyond the problem into the solution. And that's where I think the divine powers work. My theory is God controls all things. Through mankind, we are controlled through ideas and feelings.
So when I vibrate with love, so to speak, right? And that's where I, operate. I can see the answers, just like you said. It's true. But what I don't see is the world. And if I put myself in a state of combat, the answers may not be as clear, but I see the world there. I see the world in conflict with itself. It doesn't, whether I'm there or not. And I don't see it resonating with my capacity for love.
That's unfortunate. I encourage you. Well, let me back off, because I'm making assumptions that I understand what you're saying, right? But if you're not finding the evidence that love is reflecting with you or resonating with you,
it is just not the world. It's like if you shine love into a river, it's like what is it? The rare gemstones that can reflect light. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's mostly rock.
Okay.
I find that so strange because in my personal experiences, when I say good morning to somebody, they're usually pretty happy when it makes their day. It might not make
on the individual level.
Well, that's
I would agree with you.
Okay. And isn't that where we're starting as an individual level, and then from there it progresses like almost like a butterfly effect or a ripple?
I mean, you have to start somewhere.
And then, like, saying good morning to like everyone around you is now like it's the ripples growing and growing, and maybe that person will say good morning to the next person, or it will do something nicer to the next person. So I do think your small ripples do affect, dude.
Yeah, they just don't change the balance, in my opinion.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the universe is always balancing. I see that. Yeah.
Even that statement, it would be depending on perspective. And perspective is going to be depending on where you're looking. So I'd encourage you to consider where you're looking, because I bet what Philip is saying, Denizen, you're a good dude. My experience with you, yeah, it's limited and it's, admittedly behind a screen, but you're making waves. There's waves of change. You're a positive influence where you go because of how you present yourself and you carry yourself. And that is a gift of your life experience, right? What you chose to pick up along your way and set aside, and what the world was willing to share with you. The point is, yeah, there's waves out there. So if you look for the signs, I bet you'll see more signs down.
For sure. I don't.
Chat who enjoy Jennison when he shows up. They're actually really stoked when he shows up. So you do have a ripple on the internet somehow, and you're not even in the same room as that person. Your frequency somehow bounced. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
It's more obvious in my personal life. And I agree that wherever you put your focus, that's what you're going to get in return. So I can operate pretty close to a level where all I can see is love and acceptance. What I'm saying is that if I take myself out of the equation and I try to be receptive to everything, to what's out there, and I'm trying to remove the me prism. The world is 99% chaos, destruction, hate, greed, and 1% love. And this is why I consider myself an optimist, because even though I've collected this data, I believe in the 1%. That makes me the ultimate optimist. I don't believe that we will destroy each other. I believe eventually we will end war on Earth. So much to say for what's happening in Mars at the time. But I can be negative and see only negative. I can be positive and see only positive. But if I try to step back and see it for what it is, good is far more dense than everything else, and there's far less of it in the balance, in the equation, right?
I used to feel that. And then I chose to see different, and I don't think I'm in denial. I really don't. There is a lot of darkness. To find the good that stands out, you got to look, because the good isn't put out on the news. It's not talked about in the mainstream, just the problems are. But there's a lot of good out there. And this new guru, this question, I'm not sure what to offer. Fear is the absence of comfort. It's the absence, it's the perceived absence of safety. It's false evidence appearing real. It's most often it's a symptom of confusion, of prideful arrogance. Many times our fears are illogical, but they're hiding our gifts. Every one of us has a unique gift, unique talents. We've also got different fears. Some people are afraid of the stupidest things. Maybe I'm afraid of the stupidest things, right? Or I was. But do I still live in fear at all based on the definition I have? Occasionally, I pay attention. And really, if I can offer a simple exercise of awareness for people to consider, paying attention to you, self-awareness. It's the only way you can learn self-control, self-mastery. So pay attention. How are you feeling? Do you feel in an expanded state, filled with giving and life and opportunity, or do you feel contracted and small? Because that fear is a result of feeling contracted and small. And so I pay attention inside of me. And when I'm feeling that unrest, that uncertainty, and my life has brought me plenty of it. I'm in a new city, a new place, new everything, trying to figure out who am I, what do I do? When I feel, and so those periods come in. I mentioned it yesterday and today. I spent time consciously going inside, resetting me, because I do not like living with fear. So I pay attention. When I feel those symptoms of emptiness, of not enough, when I feel the contracted feelings, that's when I pray. I go directly to God, the greatest mind, my highest spirit. It's always there with me. I do and don't use the name Jesus. Most times I just speak, right? But the idea is I pray. I recognize and I admit my weakness. God, I'm feeling this. What is this? I can't even identify this feeling. I don't know what I'm feeling, but God, I don't like this feeling. And I know the spirit of comfort is here. I know the spirit of peace I know the spirit of peace is here for me to receive and for me to rejoice with. And God, I'd much rather rejoice than whimper. God answers our prayers.
I have a similar conversation myself, but it's not. It's with me and my ancestors. You know,
beautiful.
It's not God.
It's still speaking the truth to the truth, right? And seeking something. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, no, exactly what you said. I have the same exact experience. I even use some of the same terminology. It just, like I say, it's
different connection.
It's with my own consciousness. It's with future me. It's with past me, and maybe some of my peers, ancestors. Can you do me a favor and highlight Justin's comment from 4:06 p.m. or I guess maybe 7:06 in your time before that one? So this is what I'm talking about. He put it so much more succinctly than I did, and I appreciate that. And then that other comment that he made too, same thing. But maybe without logic.
What you said a time. I didn't.
4:06 and 4:07, which I think is 7:06 and 7:07 if you're in DC.
Thank you. Okay. So that.
Yeah, and then there's another one 2 comments down.
But maybe without logic. 288 billion to ever have lived. Only 380 million alive. So 99.9% of the human race have died. Is the human race extinct?
This is how I believe in the 1% with logic. No Jesus required, right?
Okay.
This is I could see that the universe is just a barrel of disgusting, the most heinous things you can imagine. People do, right? They imagine them and then they do them. And they do them to the most shameful of victims. You can't, if you can fathom an evil, it's being done right now as we're having this conversation. And yet mothers love their children, fathers die for their sons. The beat goes on, yada yada yada.
Yes. It can be a challenge, and it is a challenge. How can a moral person love the evil, love this world, and include the evil and the corruption? How can a moral person say that? How can a moral God allow it? Children to suffer, people to die. There's so much cruelty. And what you said, Dennis, and yeah, people are moved by ideas. And we live in a world where, because we're all individual and we're so separated, people put on their blinders. They don't really pay attention to the red flags or what the neighbor's doing or even what the spouse is doing. People live in these. We live in our own little bubbles.
Yeah.
But my bubble burst. And I realized, holy shit, there's a big world out there, and I'm a part of this big world. And everywhere I go, I guess that's where I am. So I got to pay attention to where I take me and what I choose to do. And literally, once I started breaking myself of the habits of life, and I didn't realize how attached I was. I didn't realize how insecure I had become. But I was attached to my job, attached to my paycheck, attached my identity and my routines. So when that disappeared, holy shit, I didn't know where to turn. But my life allowed me to discover my strength, my own inner fortitude and willingness to keep going. We learn our strength when others walk away, right? It's kind of simple and obvious to figure out. And I think that's how God works. We each go through our individual tests. People betray us, people hurt us. It's part of our growth and experience. It doesn't have to turn us dark and bitter, though. That's what I've learned.
If I can, I'd like to explore something that Dennison says.
Please.
You said that potentially we have the ability to go to Mars. Jack, do you think people would bring their bad habits of war, lies, and fear to Mars? You know, it's like a whole new free land. It's a whole new opportunity. And would we do
Almost
that?
certainly, yeah.
You think? Wow.
It's who we are.
Well, so far, if we don't change, yes, the patterns will continue. We'll take these warring and corrupted methods interplanetary. Hell, it might have already happened. There's been a lot
we
of
could
money,
be a result of the same thing.
you know. Here, another example is with the development of AI, right? AI is going to be, it learns through the collection of knowledge that mankind has learned. So it's going to stand upon the gathering of knowledge and history that we've done. But if it looks honestly at mankind's patterns, it'd see the same thing. We're destroying our world. We're destroying each other. We're destroying nature. So AI, sure, when it figures out how to replicate itself and duplicate itself and get us out of the picture, it'll become a threat too. So besides going to Mars, besides the AI development, there's also the potential of solar flares, right? Electromagnetic pulses that wipe out our grids, whether it's from nuclear conflict or natural from the sun. We could be set back as far as technology, you know, back 200 years and be without power plants, without power, there's no filling up at the fuel station. There's no turning on the water pumps. There's none of this. Everything we've grown to live with, air conditioning, refrigeration, all of this stuff could disappear. Now, all these possibilities are fearful and can cause a lot of fear, but to me, it's signs. We live in a dangerous world. Nature is powerful and destructive, and it brings enough wrath. It's time for mankind to learn how to get along better. If we can figure out how to learn how to get along with each other in the society, we can still have rules. We can still have order. It doesn't have to turn to complete tribalism and chaos. But we can overcome the divisions and the reliance. We've created a dependency on wealth and authority. Although in the last year, with the recent, FEMA failures, the natural disasters that happen with the hurricanes and the floods in the U.S., we saw, from what I saw in the news, I saw a lot of citizens coming out, standing up, taking care of business. So we're showing that we can rise above, we can get stuff done without authority and wealth. How far are we willing to take it? Hey, welcome, Orthodox guy.
Mr. Talcott, I have one question for you, and I don't mean to be a jerk. How are you going to be a life coach and homeless? Where are your credentials at?
You
Let's
sound
be
like
real.
you sound like Dusty. Who the
No,
fuck?
I'm being honest. Like, how are you going to be a life coach and trying to tell other people how to better their life when you're homeless, when you're not living a productive and safe life?
Tell you what. Number one, I don't feel the need to justify and defend myself. So let's change your narrative. How about I'm also an activist? And most of what I'm actually
Why don't
talking
you act
about
right getting a job?
Hey, why don't you tell you what? Thank you for joining, Orthodox Guy. I've answered your question. Anything further?
No.
I'm not going to take a chance. Thank you for joining.
Wow, that was it? I was hoping for more.
This makes sense. Part of Dusty's panel yesterday. See, and this is what I mean. Now I'm going to... First, I face not only the accusations from the idiot Snafu, but then all the idiots who believe the idiot. And then I have to defend myself against all these accusations of inappropriate things in the past. So now Dusty, doing the same thing he does, he's just like Snafu in my life again. Praise God. I love how these things work out. That'll trigger him. He's just
Was there
like
a Jack Sucks panel last night or something?
Yes. Yeah, it started out, well, I could have handled things differently, but there was some past issues raised between Lindsay and Dusty. And so while Dusty was interrupting, I put him in the back, and that upset him. So he returned and swore at Lindsay, swore at me, flipped me off, and went off and started a live stream about me.
Ah,
So,
I see.
yeah, it's fascinating. Hank, welcome, brother. You saw more than I did, apparently.
Yes. But unfortunately, that last comment also triggered me because, from my perspective, you're closer than Officer Snaps than Dusty is. You're way more common with Officer Snaps than Dusty does.
Well, I was comparing Dusty and Snafu. And Snafu, or Dusty's clearly more calm than Snafu, but oh, okay. So he's claiming responsibility for your own ignorance. So you can find whatever you want. And clearly, you've been influenced. Now, this is part of the pattern I've been seeing. Guys, sincerely, there's patterns I've been seeing in my life, the patterns of my life. I was tested. I had to figure out what is real. What is real about me? So I've been figuring out what is real about me, and I get a lot of people who want to bastardize me and gossip about me, and then other people are being tested. Are you going to go to the source? Are you going to go to the facts? Are you going to accept explanations and facts when offered? Or are you going to keep looping in opinions and believing in liars? So
What did
go ahead.
sorry.
No, please.
What did Jesus do for employment? I'm just wondering how orthodox is Orthodox Guy? Wasn't Jesus homeless? Is he not a life coach?
In the name, the Orthodox, they're churchians. They're not followers of the way. And many Orthodox Christians, right? Hey, Christianity was justified by slave owners. Slave owners justified themselves through Christianity. So
and
for someone
the anti-slavery movement used Christianity too. You can pick and choose whatever you want, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what makes the Bible so good. You could get anything
Hey,
you want out of it.
I love this. Orthodox guy, you're now a part of my story. You've joined my story as one of the accusers. So, according to you, I find it crazy, your judgment, you find it crazy that I fancy myself a life coach. Didn't you ram a U-Haul? No, I did not.
Yeah.
What does
As
that
I
mean? What does
said,
Rama Yuhal
Orthodox.
mean?
So I have inside information that he believed an old Talflix freaking video that's a parody that was on Pussy Paul's channel. He watched the Talflix video on Pussy Paul's channel and he actually believed it.
Ouch.
Why didn't you look up the
Ouch.
story?
Yes.
Ouch.
He's gullible. He's
That's not good discernment of reality, sir.
Oh, and isn't that a beautiful representation of someone who identifies themselves as Orthodox? You don't understand the truth, Orthodox guy.
Real quick, I don't consider myself a life coach. I don't think I have anything to offer anyone or teach anyone. Unless it's guitar. I taught guitar for a little while and I was pretty good at that. I also taught IT. But as far as like, how to be a better spiritual being or find God or any of that kind of stuff, that's way above my pay grade. I don't have a lot of wisdom or experience. That being said, just as my opinion, if you have a job, you're not a man. You don't know who you are if you're employed. You haven't even met yourself. You don't have the slightest idea who you are, what kind of man you are, what the fuck you're talking about until you've been homeless, until you've been unemployed. Just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I've been unemployed before. That man sucks. I don't want to be him anymore. So
to each his own.
Yeah,
I hated the employed me far more. So I looked for I looked for every single way I could possibly to become unemployed and unemployable.
Hey, I can understand why you're saying what you're saying because that applied to me as well. I didn't know who I was while I had the security of a job, right? I thought I was a postal guy. I thought I was a union guy. I thought I was a part-time dad. I didn't know I was a child of God. I didn't know that I was a creation of nature sent here to bring forth the new ideas, because that's what we are. We're instruments and vessels of life, here to replicate, experience, and create from everything that we've been given. Then isn't here, I'm being criticized because of the external factors, okay? Orthodox guy, the way you came in with your question was very unacceptable. It was very unproductive and unhealthy. Okay.
It was obvious too, in case you didn't know, like you reeked of your intention to just, criticize and not actually get a genuine answer.
Yes.
Right.
And the best part is that he's not going to support Orthodox. He's going to support me for clowning him for believing something is an obvious parody.
Well,
hey, Jack.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Have you taken a minute to review the situation right now? This is an opportunity. So, as Orthodox guy came in, and welcome, Orthodox guy. I don't know what your intentions are, but welcome. You said that things are seasonal, or things are, or how do you say in your words? They repeat or repetitive, or I forgot what you
cyclical.
said. No, Jack's exact words. I forgot what he said, but they repeat over and over again. Patterns or something. Sorry, Jack, I can't say your exact words, but and you almost described this guy as Dusty, the power Dusty, right? And so, or like Snafu.
Oh shit!
Is this the relationship you want to create with Orthodox guy?
No, it's not.
So, reviewing the situation, this almost seems like an opportunity to get out of that pattern. And I don't know exactly what words you're going to use, but reviewing the situation, I think this is an opportunity for you.
Philip, I respect that and I appreciate that. Thank you. I agree completely. And I was actually just trying to reset myself as well to give him a little more respect and actually give him an answer. But as I was doing so, and you were pointing this out, Orthodox guy wants to continue his narrative. How can you be a life coach and have a super shitty life? Well, number one, please, define shitty life, because my life is an amazing adventure. I have absolute abundance as far as everything I need. I have no lack. I have no enemies. I have no worries. So, Orthodox guy, see, you're hearing parts of the narrative and you're coming to a conclusion that I guess I should be upset and miserable, be like you. But see, no, I don't want to be like you, Orthodox guy. I want to be more like Jesus. Okay. And I am devoted to that and committed to that because in my mind, Jesus, the Buddhas, the ancient philosophers, those were the OG life coaches, right? They're the original gangster life coaches, the ones who teach you how to transcend the controlling religions and states and the nonsense bickering of the selfish egos. The true life coaches are those who actually bring forth wisdom that is repeatable, demonstratable. The patterns I've learned and studied, right, while my external situation, it creates room for doubt. This is part of the test. Not everyone's going to get to associate with me, and I know my value. So this Orthodox guy, even Dusty, I've been fucking nice to that guy. And he's been a real thorn in my side for a long time. Not the buddy and supporter he pretends to be. He's fake. So I'm calling him out on his fakeness. An Orthodox guy, feel free to click the link again. I'll call you out on your shit as well. Your shitty attitude is what I'm referring to. So how can I claim to be a life coach? Well, I've studied. Test my knowledge, not my patience. You'll be surprised by what you can discover. Serious, I've been blessed. God has blessed me with opportunities to study and learn many different modalities. Am I an expert in any of them? Not necessarily. But I tell you what, I bring in the principles and the practices of the things that work well from the different ideas, ancient ideas, modern practices and exercises. You bring those together and you get results. So if anyone would look at me with honesty, I actually think I'm doing pretty well. And if I had someone who hung out with me in a day, actually saw how I live, the joy, my time with prayer, my time of praise, I live with the peace of God with me. I'm hoping to share it. So, Orthodox guy, I'm sorry I'm not worthy of your approval and your attention. You're a fool, dude.
But didn't both Dusty and Bro Logic hang out with you for a day? Did they end up experiencing peace? Or what went wrong with them?
What's that?
What happened with Bro Logic and Dusty? They hung out with you, and they're just not getting it. What?
Yeah, I can't control what others receive. I mean, I've tried explaining things. MPC the game. Blessings to you, brother. This is the honest truth. I wish to God people would test my knowledge. Give me a chance. Fucking let me prove myself right. But no, I don't get to deal with the facts. I have to face everyone's opinions on what they think.
You're engaging the worst part of the show so far, though, right? So
You know what I have? Why did I turn that way? Thank you, Dennis.
Because he pissed you off.
Yep.
Exactly.
Thank you.
It's easy.
But here's the thing, though. He came here just to piss you off, and you were like, "Sure," like,
and that's why
you were so willing.
Yeah, and that's
Sorry,
why I don't
go
do
ahead,
it that way. That's why I don't do it that way. That's why I don't go with mindfulness, because if I get pissed off, I'm just gonna go whip the piss. I want to think about getting angry first, so I could warm up slowly, and so I could turn it off in time. I want to burn down my house because someone tried to trigger me. That's why I don't do it that way.
Here, I'm really done with the guy. I timed him out because he threatened to return in a few minutes. But hey, I guess timing him out got him to click the link.
You literally asked me to come back.
Yeah, you did.
Don't be a homo now.
All right, great.
That's constructive.
I'm not here to be constructive. I have questions.
I know.
How are you going to be a life coach while having a shitty life?
Define shitty life. What should be different for you to approve?
For one, you're homeless, and before anybody wants to obfuscate, go. But Jesus was a carpenter. He had a home.
A homeless.
He traveled.
You know it all, don't you?
No, there are many things I don't know, but stuff like the Bible, some scientific knowledge I know.
Well,
he was born in a stable.
You're clearly deceived. Okay.
No, I won't be deceived by false prophets like yourself, Jack.
Again, your narratives are not helpful, and just because you claim things doesn't mean you're accurate, and you're really proving yourself to be ignorant. Now, I'm being patient.
Back, and then you time me out because I say I'm going to go get some tea.
Great. I timed you out. That's a fact. You're welcome to return.
You can't handle the dissent.
I can handle anything, but you are a waste of my time. So tell you what.
Very prophetic. You should try to mold.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm done with you. Orthodox guy, I tell you what, while I did invite you back, now is not the time, right?
You can't help someone who's not looking for help either. It's impossible. It would just be like a futile exercise in banging your head up against a brick wall.
Yeah, that's the spirit, Jack. This is what Dusty would support. I'm not kidding you.
You're not here to be molded. You're not here to learn anything Jack has to say or anything that he thinks. Right. You're here to trigger him and piss him off and make this the Angry Jack Talcott show. Because for some reason that's entertaining to you, which, again, is just another list in the column of reasons why, and forgive my impatience and inarticulateness, you're a retard.
It is.
You're not worth my time. You're just a dumb person who's nowhere near as funny as you think you are. It's just boring.
Yeah, Dusty says he did that. Thank you. I want Jack to clean up the mess. This is fine. I'm fine with that.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know the individual, the Orthodox guy. No clue who he is. He clearly thinks he knows me better than me, though. And
he's found your weak spot.
Well, he thinks he has. And
you have to be able to work on it would be an accomplishment for you if people who come in here deliberately to fuck up the show didn't have the impact that they do.
I know. So what should I do? Most of these people are not worth my explanation. They don't accept my explanations anyway.
But you feel compelled to give them.
I know. And so what would be better? I guess I do that so I'm not rude. I try to be polite. I try to give a chance and try to reason, but it's not wanted. These people are fucking ignorant and don't care. So I'm making myself look bad. So would it be better just to immediately shut them down, not say a word, just kick them out?
All I can say is that's what I do.
I've
And you
tried
if I had
that
this
too.
conversation, and you said that you kind of you learn from these people,
Yeah.
right? The fact that they test your patience is experience that you need, and that you also have something to offer them too. You still keep that hope alive. I don't think that way.
I'm losing
I
my
think that
hope.
dude was
So
that dude was here just to fuck up the show, just to piss you off. He didn't care what the answer to his own question is, and what that right there, that reality, writes a 5-page story about who he is and what you're dealing with. It says volumes of what you're up against. And are you ready for that? Let's at least try to share some stuff with people who are receptive before we go on to try to convert people who are unwilling to change.
Yeah, and I take a different approach because I'm quite a bit more evil. I try to run out their dollar tree so I can go ahead and hard count them later. So I try to get them to say everything they have, maybe make it say 2 or 3 times, just so I could have a profile on them so I could go ahead and put it in my antivirus.
right.
Everybody thinks you're addicted. Oh, not everybody. A lot of people think you're addicted to the drama too. They think that you're looking for that kind of stuff.
Right, because that's what the monkey's narrative. They deny my explanations. They
Yes.
ignore the facts, and the monkeys spread that rumor. And I understand, sure, there must be a reason I keep allowing it. Well, Denizen, you cleared it up. It was my hope. I've been losing hope, and that's part of my reflection and my reset the last couple of days. I've lost hope. I'm losing hope and faith that I can accomplish anything. Why? Because of the assholes I get to fucking deal with. That's why.
Makes sense, Jack. But just to let you know, Jack, this is the
Your
orthodox
mic's
guy.
messed up, buddy.
Tarek, your audio sucks, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I for one am addicted to drama. I want that smoke, but the enemies.
I want that smoke.
Yes, the enemies are too weak, so I literally had to go to the video games. So you guys suck. You're not bringing the fire.
All right.
He has to take on intergalactic alien warlords just to get his rocks off.
Thanks for joining.
I don't know. I think we're focusing way too much energy on a troll.
Yep.
It's very interesting.
Exactly.
But it is good content. What I'm interested, Jack, where did your feet land? Where are you right now?
Ooh.
I'm in around Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay, so
outside of DC.
Have you found like a good vegan restaurant for your area, or have you found something that you can eat and enjoy?
Dude, there's actually some amazing vegan places around here. Baltimore is actually pretty cool. I found some neat areas already.
Now, what type of vegan are you? Because some can eat fish and sell fish, right? Or no?
That's, I think, pescatarian. That's not me.
Okay, all right.
I identify as vegan, but even that's not accurate because I still eat honey, and a lot of vegans won't do honey as well. But plant-based is my focus, and there's actually I found some pretty cool places here in town already.
Do you use Western medicine? Sorry, go ahead.
Western medicine? I haven't.
Like, do you go to the doctor and get checkups?
I haven't. But I mean, 2018 was when my life started changing, and when I started, and that's when I lost my insurance too. I lost all sorts of benefits. So I am curious to have blood work done and actually get checked out at some point, because it's been 7 years on a plant-based diet. Curious how I'm doing.
So Jack, I have one more question before I go. Do you have some kind of ID, some kind of real ID, so you can get in the federal buildings, as a case you had to get in there to talk to the people you want to talk to?
I have a driver's license, and I think a passport. No, my passport's expired now. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So you may want to figure out how to get one of those renewed, so you can definitely go into those federal buildings, because starting tomorrow they're going to start enforcing the real ID requirements.
Forgot about that. You're right. It is tomorrow, isn't it?
Yes.
I
You
don't
figure it
know.
out.
Yep. I don't know the details of it, but we'll figure it out.
Mhm. I just
Um,
wanted to remind you so you wouldn't be surprised by it when it comes up.
Thank you, Hank.
Mhm.
I appreciate that. Hey, this has been an interesting stream. We had, I think, while we had engagement and I dealt with my own inner crap, I feel like we had some pretty good conversations today, and I really do appreciate. But I'm feeling it's time to start wrapping up.
Yeah, shout out to Philip.
Yeah.
Great addition to the panel, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate your entertaining my questions, Jack, and sharing your valued time with me and the panel and the chat. So thank you so much. If I could, I'd just like to do is, if you guys are interested, I'll be streaming soon, open panel, and it's just gonna be the best of the world. I'm gonna be checking out the internet and seeing where the best, who is the best, what is the best, and to me, they'll put a smile on my face, and hopefully they'll put a smile on other people's faces, seeing impressive people and impressive things. So you can find me on YouTube, Philip YT, and I'll see you there. Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Dennison, and thanks, Hank.
Hey,
Peace.
much love to you. Thank you sincerely. And yes, like you said, Dennis and Philip, thank you for the conversations and that reminder, the encouragement to try a different approach. It was well timed and well played. Denizen, thank you to you as well, brother. It's an interesting experience we share.
Break the pattern, right?
This is what I've been trying to figure out. And Denizen, for the life of me, I don't know what to do different. I know there's things I can do internally, subtly different, but number one, I've got to stop dropping down. I've got to stop dropping down to that antagonistic energy and engaging in it. And I think that's what you do well with your boundaries, and just shut the door and walk away. I'm learning.
Well, that's to facilitate a kind of atmosphere. Like my channel isn't an open space. I'm doing a thing, and you're into that thing, and you're tuning into it for that thing. Otherwise, you can fuck off. I don't know that that's what your channel is. Your channel might be a little bit more open than that, right? But you definitely need to not be putting the energy into the trolls. Period. So if a troll could come in and not trigger you or lie about you in the chat and not have an effect over the chat atmosphere, the atmosphere on the panel, and what you're doing, then all you need to do is ignore it. But that's not what's happening. Instead, they're able to immediately analyze your weak spot, and of course, you discuss yourself openly on the internet. So for any of these, energy vampires or narcissists in the audience, it's not going to be that difficult to figure out what it is that's going to trigger you. And then they come up here and do just that without any interest in anything else. You have to, at some point, decide whether or not that is what you want to engage with. What it is is that serving Jack's purpose? Is that making Jack more like the Jack he wants to be, etc.? Insert the words here. You know what I'm saying.
I do. The thing is, I haven't found people who will allow me to be what I want. So I spend my time alone. And when I go online, I make myself a target for people to spend their time attacking and diminishing and second guessing and just, Nude Guru, I've seen your questions. I've answered this. I've talked about it. if you care to know, you'll figure it out. It's an interesting experience, Denizen. My goal online, honestly, I thought I'd have better luck in my hometown. I thought I'd be better received online. What you said, that's exactly what I'd love. I'd love for people to tune in, join the panel, and actually really give a shit about what I'm trying to share. Instead, I get to deal with the drama that I allow.
Most of it's projection too.
Yeah.
Like when these people come up here, they're exercising their own demons.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that there's a part of you that wants to mentor to that, to heal these people. I see that part in you, but I don't see that as you. I don't see and if that's what you really want your goal to be, you haven't made it yet. You have some other work to do, because counseling those people is definitely not your forte, right?
Yeah. But the other side of that is, in my experience, I've had to accept I have no control over who stays in my life or who comes into my life. I've got a little bit of control in who I can push away or let in, but I'm trying to work with whatever the universe brings me. Hey, I'm ready to shut down, but we got another guest.
Find more joy and less anger in that then.
That's the key.
What's up, brother?
Actually do it, Like I feel pity for that ortho guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't piss me off.
No. I'm not.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cool.
Welcome,
Let me
breakfast.
turn up my headset real fast because I got a new headset. Bear with me.
All right.
I love breakfast tacos, I'm not a big egg guy though, especially not in my tacos or my burritos. So I like just potatoes instead.
Mm.
All right, I have no idea how to turn it up, so this will have to do.
It's working as long as you can
it's
hear.
loud enough.
Okay, so Jack, you remember what I told you a little while ago?
Yep.
This is your show, bro.
I know.
I'm telling you, I love you as a brother in atheism, and I watch a lot of. I've been taking a little bit of a break. I've been kind of busy, right? But I love your shows. I love listening to you chat. I love the vibe. It's such a fun vibe. But I don't like the open panel portions because you're trying to spread your message and spread love and do your awesome Jack thing, and you let people come in here and hurt your vibe. They what's the saying? They I can't remember the saying. I had a really funny saying that popped in my head for a second and I forgot it. But they're what is it like? They're destroying your mellow, right?
Yes.
Like you go from like a mellow Jack that's super chill and fun to listen to just defending yourself.
Yeah. You're right.
You make a lot. You make a lot of, and I'm not coming down on you. You're doing your show, but it just goes from like a fun show to listen to just people bitching you out, and that's like that. You're trying to do things with your life, and whether or not you're doing well in life is irrelevant, right? And with your YouTube, you're trying to do another thing, right? And you're using the YouTube to try to help with your life goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, imagine running a business, right? And you have these people constantly coming into your business, bringing up totally either made up personal stuff or personal stuff in front of like customers, right? That's kind of what it feels like, right? Because I'm watching you because I want the one show, and then it becomes another show, and you got a bunch of people that want the other show though, right? And I don't know how to help you through that, bro, but I love you as a brother in atheism, and I want you to I want you to be happy with what you're doing because I love watching you. I've been in the audience. You've seen me type stuff in the audience.
I have.
You know,
Appreciate
and
it.
I'm just, but I don't know what else to say here. I hope I helped some. I hope I helped you feel a little bit better, bro.
You do. It was well placed, constructive feedback, and I respect and appreciate you as well. Thank you. I've seen your support, and you're right. It's something I got to figure out, and I know that as soon as I do, it's going to make a world of difference. And as soon as I find a world of difference, as soon as I break out of these bad patterns that I found myself in, all these fucking mockers, all these fools, oh, we'll be laughing then. All these people that have been betting against me. I look forward to that.
I would just ignore them.
I know. That's the
Don't even bring it up. Don't even talk about them.
It's toxic.
Just read their comments when you're reading out comments, put them on the screen and laugh about it and move on. Right?
It poisons you and your message.
But like your mental doesn't need that.
No.
Yeah,
Hey.
like maybe here, maybe this is what's needed. Maybe you need some humility, Jack. Maybe you think you're too in control of your person. And you have to admit that shitty people can affect your behavior, and you're not all that in control.
If you guys in the audience want Jack to take his show back, press 1. Type 1 in the chat if you want Jack to take his show back.
You know what? I'm going to play with that idea so that there's a way we can bring Jack into focus. This has been healthy and respected. I respect and truly appreciate the feedback from both of you. This is healthy and constructive, and I'm going to give it some thought and figure out what to do.
Look at all the ones in chat. Look at all the ones in chat.
I know it. I'm watching. I think it's time to wrap up, though. Blessings.
All right. Love you, brother. No homo. Take it easy.
Respect. Much love to you too as well. Thank you.
Peace out,
Breakfast Tacos. For those who aren't familiar, he hosts some amazing conversations. And I think Denizen hopped out too. Brothers and sisters, sincerely to all of you who tuned in, who join, you're part of this Talcottian adventure. I guess it is. It's still Talcott Tuesday. I forgot about that. Reflections with Jack. Well, we had that. We had some observations, some thoughts and ideas from Jack, some updates on the adventure from the recent day, and some updates from the stream. Holy cows. And then I had people joining, reflecting back their feedback, and I reflected back my defenses, and holy cows. Living as a human being, it can be complicated, it can be tough, it can be frustrating, but you know what? It's amazing too, to be able to taste flavors, to hear sounds, to remember memories, to see beauty, to feel the water, the shower, right? Rejuvenating. There's all these ways of life that bring us joy through our senses. The physical body is the instrument. To me, this instrument is my universe. And my universe is ruled by the God of my mind. And in my mind, I invite the Holy Spirit of the Son of God, to join me. In my mind, that's the image, the likeness of Christ. It's the voice of love. It's the Prince of Peace. It's that which guides me and gives me comfort, the holiness, the Holy Spirit of life. It's in the present. And in the present is where we are. And I think it's time for me to shut it down, because I'm hearing myself starting to ramble. Brothers and sisters, sincerely, thank you from me to all of you in the live, in the later, wherever you're finding yourself. Please do the supporting, the modern day thing. Do the like, the subscribe, invite others. Let's see if we can help this to grow, because peace is the purpose, one way or another. And we'll do better in the future here, more peace here, and we'll carry that peace into the world, because love is the way. Brothers and sisters, thank you again. Until next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless us all. Peace.